Gemini, and welcome to the Lex Vox. I am Alexa Avalon. And yeah, so today's reading is a little different. All of my readings are trying out something new, different setups, different cards. Just want to see exactly what I like the best, what you guys like the best. Yeah, so, and they're going to be a little bit shorter so that they're easier to digest and I can get them out reliably for you guys. Before we get into it, I'll just say please like, share, and subscribe if you resonate with these messages. If you find them at all helpful, please subscribe and pass on the messages maybe to somebody in your life who could also benefit from them. Okay? I'm going to set an alarm here quickly so that I stay on track, on time, because it is a difficult thing for me to do, I won't lie. All right, before we get into the cards, I just want to also say at the end I'm going to roll this awesome 20-sided die to give you a number. All right, you can either ask a question, looking for a number from 1 to 20, or you can just see if there's a particular significance for that number for you. If it relates to our reading, I'll delve into that a bit at the end. Okay, so that's at the end, and that was I have a whole collection here. They're actually called Gemini dice. This particular set. It certainly felt appropriate for today, and if there's a different one you'd like to see, these have 10s on them, like 10 through 80, or I think, nope, 100. So if there's other ones you'd like to see, just let me know. Okie doke. All right, so before we get into the read, I'll tell you what I was intuiting. I'm just gonna take my notes here. Have a look at my notes, okay? So, a few things that I was getting right off the bat were a feeling of not having enough air, a feeling of excess fire in the sort of creative center, a feeling of fight or flight, which actually brought me down to fire or air, to creative or communicative. Okay, so Gemini is dealing with an issue of either trying to decide between or being stuck between two energies, either to create or communicate. Okay, and I'm betting there's a whole lot of interplay in between the two, like needing to communicate about your creativity or communicate about old beliefs. The other bit that I was getting was basically Gemini, and they're very Geminian, and I'm a sun sign Gemini, geez, as well. So so I love you, and know that I'm also talking about myself here, but so in the very Geminian way of being of two minds, of being sort of split, as we're known as the twins, right? Sort of split between your new creative path or old mental beliefs. Okay, between creating or communicating. Yeah, basically between building and birthing, or communicating mental prison. That sounds terrible, but if you connect with this message, you'll kind of know what that means, or at the very least feel like it resonates in some way. Okay, because the way that we communicate can very much become our own prison. Okay, because if you're constantly talking about things that hold you back, things that you don't believe in, things that make you feel bad in general, that is a verbal prison. Okay, so what else? There's as per usual, almost every reading, not necessarily, but quite a few readings each week involve a certain level of heart healing. Okay, because that is a collective energy that we're all going through, is this opening up of the heart space. Okay, so it'll be a constant theme in a lot of the readings. So there's a block on the feminine side of the heart space, okay, and that relates to like compassion, forgiveness, understanding, and I want to say unconditional love for both the self and the other, okay, but specifically, no, let's say both, okay. I do want to say specifically the other, but maybe it's my mind chirping in saying, no, let it be for both. But anyway, okay, we're going to move on now to flipping the cards, all right? So we have here, these are Spirit Animal Oracle cards, okay? They're stunning, and I just love them. One is intended to represent the Gemini, one's intended to represent the other person in the dynamic, and then the other is intended to represent the dynamic between the two. Then we also have 4 cards I pulled to tell the story of this dynamic for the Gemini, okay? And that's the Celestial Tarot. Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay. So let's get going. Let's flip our animal cards here. That's really interesting, okay? Interesting. Okay. So we have, I'm feeling very much okay. All right. I was considering flipping the deck, as our bottom of the deck energy for the animal spirit is also reversed, and we have 2 reversals, but we're going to stick with what we have here, okay? I'm also going to flip over the Celestial Tarot right now. We have the 4 of Swords in reverse. We have Aries, the Emperor. We have the Prince of Pentacles in reverse, which corresponds to the Page of Pentacles. Is that Pentacles? Yes, Page of Pentacles. Yeah. And here we have Justice in reverse, okay? All right. Okay, so let's kick off here. So the Turkey Spirit is an adorable card, okay? In reverse, it denotes being in the energy of giving in order to receive, okay? So it denotes sort of giving for the wrong reasons, okay? It's about, it suggests that the person this represents is really residing in the state of lack, in the sense that when they give, they're keeping a tally, basically, and so when they only intend to give as much as is necessary, because they feel that they don't have enough, right? When we give in order to receive, like from that energy, it's a lack energy, right? Like, it's not, ideally we're going to give because we know we have everything we need. We're going to give because we know the universe will provide, that God will provide everything that we need. And in that way, everything we need is brought to us. If you're giving from a place of, okay, I have a limited resource, and so when I give this, it means you have to give that. It's a tit for tat, and that's not the energy of balance. Okay, it sort of is an illusion of the energy of balance, that if I give this, you should give that. And surely, yes, for sure, but to come from that place, instead of just giving because you have unconditional love, you want to give without condition. Okay, and condition. Okay, and so that's where that heart healing is coming in for the Gemini. All right, so giving. When we give just so that we can receive, that is a condition. All right, we're saying, I will give you this so long as you give me this. We're saying, I'll give you this on the condition that I receive equal, in return. And so that is the energy, I actually want to say, of the Gemini. All right. Don't take that the wrong way, because I'm also a Gemini, and this could just as easily apply to me and a dynamic going on in my life. All right. For the other energy, the other person in the dynamic here, we have the otter spirit. Okay, the otter spirit, which says you are never alone. All right. Otters, I think of it from the element of water. Okay, the element of love, spirituality, emotions, the subconscious. Okay, and it denotes a connection to all of that. Okay, that when we are connected in our hearts, when we are connected to our heart space, we feel connected to the universe, the rest of creation, to our loved ones. Okay. It also denotes support. Okay. I actually want to say subconscious support, or unconscious support. Okay. I don't know if you guys know this, but otters in the wild, when they sleep, they actually hold hands so that they don't lose each other in the tide, because they sleep on their backs and just kind of float around, right? So they hold hands while they sleep, and in that way, it's a sort of unconscious guiding. Okay. All right. Then we have the wasp spirit in reverse. Okay. Obviously, it says sometimes life stings, and surely we know that that of the wasp. For me, this is talking about the mentality, the network. So the neural network and also the social network of the Gemini. Okay. So I'm getting there's something about the mental connections and the social connections of this Gemini. It's about the way that they're thinking and the way that they're talking about giving and receiving. Okay. That is actually hindering something in the life of the Gemini. Okay. So I actually want to say that there's somebody in your life that is, and it honestly, it could be a spirit guide. or it could be a romantic partner, a family friend that you're not necessarily recognizing their major role in keeping you afloat, and their major role in keeping you from essentially stinging yourself even worse, okay? So there is a creative fire that is burning for this Gemini, all right? And how do I say this? There's somebody in your life who is trying to help make sure that your fire stays creative, directional, and it doesn't burn you up, okay? It doesn't eat you up, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at. So there's a connection. Oh, goodness. All right, please forgive that. There is a connection with somebody in your life that is actually very supportive, very nurturing, very somehow capable to reach you on an emotional level that helps to bring parts of your subconscious to the surface, okay? And that is helping ultimately to quell your fire, not so that you can't create, okay, at all. It's not about that. It's about controlling the fire, creating a controlled burn, okay? That equals a controlled burn that goes far and wide, essentially, okay? So that your influence, this, whatever this creative new endeavor that you're engaging in, there's a relationship in your life that you're not necessarily giving the full due credit to, that is actually helping you to reach the people you want to reach, to grow this area of your life, to expand it, to help it reach its fullest potential. Because the Gemini is not doing themselves any favor at this current time. They're I'm seeing like a network of mental beliefs that are holding the Gemini back, okay? It's these beliefs that, you know, you shouldn't give unless you're sure you're going to get, okay? And I'm going to use my own life for an example here and say, like, for me, I have a tendency to think of giving in those terms because I've got a condition, a pain condition, all right? And so I've kind of learned over years that, like, I have to be careful about my expenditure of energy, and I shouldn't set out to use up a ton of my energy if I am not going to be getting what I need to out of the experience, okay? And while that is helpful when you have a pain condition, when you are embarking on new areas of your life, when you're trying to step out of your comfort zone, that kind of thinking can really hold you back, okay? If your comfort, or if you're trying to step out of that mentality, if you're trying to step into a more unconditional, loving space, that sort of thinking obviously can hold you back. So you're being asked to recognize the connection, okay? Recognize the connection either with a significant romantic partner, a family friend, or even just spirit, okay? Recognize that the world is actually trying to help you, but your mentality is holding you back, okay? And that's, again, that's where this, what I was getting in the when I was intuiting before we flip the cards here was that the Gemini was in a place of being torn between creating and communicating, okay? This fire and air, this creation versus beliefs and communication, okay? So there's a process going on that's happening in order so that the Gemini is being purified, essentially, so that when the time is right, for their message to reach the wider array, that it is one of connection, it is one of love, and not one of separation, of the self and the other, okay? Duality, all right? Gemini is going through a process right now that is ultimately helping them be able to communicate and create from a place of unity as opposed to separation, okay? And that's part of why there's a bit of a creative holdup, a bit of a communicative holdup at this time. It is also somewhat in relation to the Mercury retrograde. As you might know, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and when it's in retrograde, there can be a lot of blocks, a lot of difficulties with the Geminian energy, okay? So again, that's where we get this sense of separation, of a duality, of the twins, essentially the yin and the yang, the male, the female, the self and the other, okay? Also, there can be these communication blocks, and again, that's what we were talking about just now, and with what I was intuiting before, okay? So, in terms of the Celestial Tarot, as I was saying, we have the Four of Swords, okay, in reverse. So the Four of Swords, typically in its upright position, is about taking time out to essentially consolidate, just really consolidate, bring understanding together, okay, to go over issues, to go over things that went wrong, all that stuff, and to rest and rejuvenate, okay? So the Four of Swords in reverse for me here is about Gemini wanting to come out of this period, wanting to come out of this period of inaction, all right? But for circumstances beyond their control, partially the retrograde of Mercury, their ruler, as well as Mercury, the ruler of communication, although they're wanting to communicate about the things that they've recently reviewed and consolidated, learned, okay? They wanted to communicate about these things, about the long-term life changes, long-term direction, long-term commitment that they are making to a creative endeavor, okay? I think of, so the Emperor is all kings rolled into one. He's reliable and dependable. He's long-term growth and commitment, all this very masculine creative force energy, okay? That's how the Gemini is feeling right now, like they are just wanting to go and create, okay? We have the Prince of Pentacles in reverse here as well. The Prince of Pentacles in its upright form is, well, it's related in other tarot decks, it would be called the the Knight of Pentacles, okay? Oh, sorry, stretch. So, the Prince of Pentacles in reverse is about a new energy a new physical reality, essentially, that is wanting to come in, but at this time is blocked, okay? So like I said, in the upright form, it's all about forward moving energy, about like a slow and steady growth, okay? So there is a long term, like I said, steady growth that is wanting to come in around passion that you have, around a desire, a goal that you have, that will ultimately be a whole, this long-term change will mean a change in your physical reality, okay? And that is essentially waiting to come in. Could be after the excuse me, could be after the after Mercury goes direct. And then we have Libra, we have the Justice card, okay, in reverse. And it speaks of this period of adjustment, this period of balance, the period, as I was saying, of purification for the Gemini, okay? It talks about, the Justice card talks about karma. It's a major arcana card. We've got, we have 2 here, okay? So there is a big shift going on for the Gemini in terms of long-term actions, long-term goals, things that you want to do reliably every day, this new creative endeavor, okay? You're wanting to create, but you're in a period of purification, okay, where I want to say spirit, I want to say God, I want to say the universe, whatever it is that you are comfortable with saying, you know, it's you're needing a little bit more time, essentially, before it's fully time to create or communicate, okay? Because that's those were the basic energies that I was intuiting before we started this. It was about creative endeavor and communication, okay? And the sort of the opposition, the pulling, the tug of war between the two. Do I create? Do I throw myself into creating and building up this project? Or do I throw myself into communicating? Do I throw myself into can be taking in information, also putting out information? Is it time for me to be talking to the important people in my life to inform them of this major change, okay? So like I said, the universe and God are trying to help you. They are helping you purify during this time, all right? I want to say once Mercury goes direct, this long-term growth and project action, okay, is going to become a significant part of your world. But of course, it's going to require a significant change in your life, in your practices, your daily life, your daily practices, okay? And so the period you're going through now is helping you to be able to do this, all right? It's helping, even though you want to go right now and get this off and running, okay? You're needing this period so that the growth that comes, the growth that you have is going to be a long-term one, okay? And so that when you are able to reach more people with your creative passion, okay, maybe you paint, maybe you sing, maybe you make stop motion Lego videos, I don't know. We all have varying and vast passions and hobbies, okay? This is all happening to clear the negative thinking that's not helping you. It's not helping you move forward, so that when you are able to create and communicate through your creations, it will be a pristine, it it will be in a pristine manner, okay? You're essentially shaking off the shadow element from you, okay? And I think that for a lot of you, God, Spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it, is working through an individual in your life. They're probably somebody who might drive you bonkers a lot, but it's actually because they trigger things in you that need healing, okay? So you get triggered a lot by them, and it's very frustrating, but it ends up that you end up thinking about patterns, long-term patterns that aren't helping you, and you end up doing better, and then new blessings come into your life. Do you have anyone in your life who's like that? The last thing that I wanted to go over, let's see. Yeah, again, just more co-creation. So we have bottom of the deck energy, we have 3 of Pentacles, all about collaboration in the physical, okay? Oh my Lord. Stop there. Please forgive that. All about collaboration in the physical, okay? We also have the Hanged Man in reverse, which is actually a great thing, okay? So the Hanged Man, when he's upright, is sort of a period of suspension, time out to, like I said, consolidate, but you're actually coming out of that, all right? It's not quite time, like I said, for the rubber to hit the road in terms of the expansion of this project, but it is, you have taken the time out, like you see already, the 4 of Swords in reverse. This is an energy that's already behind you, okay? So you're in a period where you're actually coming out of this Hanged Man energy. You're coming out of a period of suspension, okay? A period of basically a time out, all right? You're going through this, understanding this process is actually going to help enlighten. I do want to say enlighten you, okay? We also have, yeah, all right, we'll stop there. But so we have bottom of the deck energy for the spirit animal cards. We have the Crow Spirit in reverse, the Parrot Spirit, and the Swan Spirit, okay? So I'll flip them just for you to view. Crow Spirit says co-create with spirit, okay? And I'm not even going to get into all the intuitions that I'm getting from this, but the crows, they know what is special, they know what is valuable, and they go after it, okay? I want to say that the Gemini is feeling like maybe if it's not happening, if what they want or the expansion of this creative project is it's not unfolding the way that they want at this time, they're feeling this separateness from God, from the universe, from their actions, and you're being reminded, in fact, that we co-create our world with the universe, okay? They provide for us, but we also we participate in that, okay? And you're being asked to remember that you are special, okay? That the universe or spirit wouldn't have chosen you for this particular project if they didn't see the value in you, okay? And again, we have the Parrot Spirit in reverse and the Swan Spirit in reverse. The Parrot says, watch your words. It's all about communication, okay? And the Swan's all about diving deep into our own self and our issues, all right? So you're being reminded that even though you might feel disconnected from God at this time, or disconnected just in general, and that if you were truly connected, this project would be taking off the way that you want it to, or and again, it could be work, right? Like taking off, or a relationship the way that you want it to, and and part of the reason is because of this healing that needs to take place before you are, I want to say, given the platform to communicate. Okay, so like I said, we communicate through our creative endeavor, through our work, all right? And what's going on right now is not because you are separate from God. It's not because Spirit doesn't think that you are special enough for your special enough or talented enough or enough, okay? It is actually in order to purify and heal you, to get you to do these deep dives. I just lost a card there. To get you to do these deep dives of the self, to have you connect with the subconscious, with your subconscious, and again, that could be prompted. I see 6-6 through a relationship that you have with another where you're trying to give unconditionally, to love unconditionally, and be loved in return, okay, in an unconditional form. All right, so what's happening right now is happening to heal and purify you, so that when it is time to communicate through your work, you're at this 0 point, this clean slate, this balance, okay? You're balanced, essentially. So understand that you are moving forward, that God and the universe are working with you, they're working for you, and they are working through you as well as your loved ones, okay? Remember that the words you tell yourself, the way you think, the way you speak about the issues of your life have played a huge role in your experience of your physical surroundings, okay? And ultimately, the healing and purification is happening so that you communicate from this baseline, this fresh tabula rasa, I want to say, that means blank slate in Latin, I believe. And it's helping you to release this tit-for-tat mentality that you've built up in order to protect yourself because of being wounded, of being hurt in the past, okay? For me, that has to do with all the pain that I go through physically, and putting up boundaries, boundaries and walls and rules to help keep my physical body safe. But I'm at a point where I'm trying to heal my emotional body, and I'm a bit more capable in the physical realm. So I want to break out of this pattern. I want to break out of this pattern of tit-for-tat giving in all areas of my life, in terms of energy, in terms of creativity, in terms of just love, and all areas, okay? So we're going to roll the 20-sided die, all right? So if you got a question that relates to a number, go ahead and ask it. Otherwise, we'll just give you a number, see what happens, all right? So can we get a number for related to this reading, the energy of this reading for Gemini, please? Thank you. All right, we have 14. 14, okay? 14 in numerology relates to, it actually equals the number 5, which relates to change. All right, certainly this is a major process of change going on for the Gemini. They're in a period of this pregnant pause before a major change is fully carried out in the physical. They're also just raring to change, raring to make change, and also to make change through the through the mode of communication, make change through communicating, through their work, through just literal words, communication, the throat chakra. All right, so it relates to the throat chakra as well, and it relates to healing. Okay, it relates to the 14 card, the major arcana in tarot, is a Temperance card, which relates to Sagittarius, a fire, creative fire energy, a long-term goals, again, that fire energy, the desire to do what's right, but also to temperance and healing. Okay, so taking a bit of that water energy, the heart, spiritual energy, and tempering your fire a bit with that. Okay, the creative energy. And like I said, it relates to this person or energy of heart growth and just coming from the heart, that is ultimately sort of working to make sure that the Gemini isn't swallowed by their own fire, whether that's creative or anger or passion, whatever it is. Okay, so Gemini, you're just needing a little bit more time here, but there is a major change going on, and it's happening so that you can heal yourself and others, is what I'm hearing. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. You can follow me on Instagram at Avalonis_liberation. Avalonis is the Latin word for Avalon. And yeah, so thank you so much for joining me. I'm Alexa Avalon, and this has been the Lex Vox. Lex is obviously a short form for Alexa, but it's also the Latin word for law, and Vox is the Latin word for voice. Okay, and this is the reason I chose that is all about we're going through a period where we're truly understanding the effect that our voice, the effect that our words have on our own, creating our own world and creating this world that we all live in, that we all co-create together. Okay, yeah, again, thank you so much, Gemini, for joining me, and I hope to see you again next week. Blessings.